Live special presentation of Retro Sports Network, home of the champions of the past, present, and or future. I hope I'm presentable. My name is Ron Juckett, and we do this about 4 times a year. We virtually unbox another Dave Cook game, and tonight it's football's turn, as football 2021 has been released to the masses. And we got our hands on it a little earlier today. I think it was available around noontime Eastern today. I played it for about 3 minutes, so most of this, I've installed it. We'll go through it off. It installs the same way that every other Dave Cook game does. We'll go through, we'll play a quarter, we'll set up a season, I'll show you how to mod stuff, and all. If you've watched these videos before, you know what we do here. It is fair to say that this version of Action PC Football, this seems to be the game that Dave has put the most work into. This one's got the biggest refurb of that it looks to be anyway. This year it ran a couple weeks late. It was supposed to be out around April 15th, and it's out today, the 28th. So if you're watching this live on Twitch, if not, you'll see it tomorrow night on YouTube. So I'm looking at one big change already, and I haven't even showed you the screen. But just for giggles again, it installs the same way as every other Dave Cook game. It makes its own folder and reads all the data from your DK data sports data folder. The one caveat is if you're using, let's say, the 2019 or 2020 or any other version of Action PC Football, the new roster, the 2020 rosters, will not work with those games because I believe they've been expanded past whatever the old database was. So this is the first time that a version is not compatible. The older ones are not compatible with the new rosters. Every other roster will work with the new game, and I'm sure going forward they'll be able to work with newer versions of the game. But for now, the 2020 roster is not backwards compatible. If you want to play the 2020 NFL season, you Tampa Bay Buccaneer or Tom Brady fan, you're going to have to buy the 2021 version of the game. That being the caveat, let's go, shall we? And this is what you see when you turn it on. I don't know. Dave is here. I am here. There we go. I just put this season on for poops and giggles earlier and shut down the game, and here we are. Voila! This is the intro screen. And it shows all the colors and the records. This was the replay that I finished. And so it's a team roster screen. I'm sure you can shut this one off. But you can do everything you could right from the game, from the old main screen. You can modify team information, modify team graphics, create new teams, import teams, move teams, delete teams. Won't do any of that here because this is a stock league and it's a finished replay. The league, right here from the screen, create new blank league and new draft league if you want. And the players, database, leaders. Let's take a look at leaders. And again, these are all the stats from the replay I did a couple years ago. A couple new ones here. Just seeing here, you can rushing gains for 10 plus yards, rushing first downs. We'll go through all this as we go through. And these are, those are the real stats. Replay, there we go. So that's what the game keeps track of. And such like that. So this screen is the same as before. Let's install a new season, shall we? I want to install. Setup. No. Cancel. What the hell am I doing? Install. Season. Okay. So let's install a season, shall we? What do I have already in here? Let's do 91. because I have it. Click on the season you wish to install. Hit begin installation. How you doing, Brad? We missed you. Installation complete. Okay. So that's what comes up, and here's how you get your pictures. Under Tools. First, last. Reset player photos. And boom. All the pictures are here. Yep, Bill Belichick got to start as the Browns head coach. Brad, hope you're doing well. So this is the main screen, and these, of course, are the real stats. We'll go through and show you how to change everything. If you haven't, how you doing, D. Scott Howard? Yeah, Al did not. Oh, Al won again with the 75 Reds. You know what? The 75 Reds should have won anyway. So this has not changed. We'll show you how we do this. Buffalo. Now, this looks new. Team type, obviously there. League caliber, pro only. This looks like this is new. So the default is standard pro. Oh! And so now you can go down to a lower level. I think this is in response to too many AFL teams beating NFL teams, especially in the early 60s. Sure, the stadium is just, Tribe Fan asked, so I wonder if you can put the past team in their future stadium. The stadium is just window dressing. So standard pro would be NFL, and then lower level would be AFL, AAFC, WFL, and USFL. So I'm sure if you get default, that is there. Very clever, Black & Decker. And the other thing that you can change from here, what's it, a Buffalo and Washington? We'll get to all that, Zalapsky. It has the penalty frequency and all that. So that's the only things you can do from this first screen. You can change the colors if you want, but they're pretty good. It's just change the name. Next, team graphics. And again, we're just going to do Buffalo and Washington here. That's the default logo for Buffalo. We don't want that. We want that. Yay. You can put a coach text or coach picture here. I don't have it. Road uniform. That's white and dark. So let's do road would be white for Buffalo. And that ear. So that would be the Bills uniform. The home. Would be that. Well, if it was historically, they don't change the names of that because it did play at Papa John's for a long time. And Dave likes the default logos. You can have touchdown music now. I don't have anything there. But if you really wanted to, you could. Horizontal fields is how I play. Yeah, it's Cardinal Stadium now. So this has not changed. Scrolling through. Yeah, I don't put that stuff there, but you can. Dry field. We'll do rain field. We won't do a snow field. Not until Black Friday. Yep, well, you have to wait then. Okay. So Buffalo is done. Now Washington. Da 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 da. But this doesn't change. This is the same thing every year. And I like that. Let's see what we give us here. God, there's a lot of fields. Boom. I got a ton of fields here. All right. I'm going to go back and do the uniforms. Now, they wore white at home then. Dark. Logo. All right, and don't forget, anytime you change any of those, you got to hit OK. So let's look at the rules. So the rule set is for the basic for that year. You kick off from the 35, goalpost on the end line, field goal miss line is the kick spot. You can set where the touchback goes for the punt, interception, and fumble, and for the kickoff, and they're both set for the 20. Season length 16. Use actual stadium home field advantage. Defer is shut off. There's no. You can have set the length of the quarter. There's high school rules. No 2-point conversions. You can allow kneels and spikes. No replay challenges. You can set how many replay challenges you want. Audibles per half. The overtime rules. 15 minutes sudden death and sudden death pro overtime playoff. Extra point kick line is a 2-yard line, so you can set that for whatever you want. Or than 15. How you doing, Buckshot? Okay, so that's all the options for there, and it looks like, honestly, some of these are the high school rule thing is new too. I don't know if has anybody ever played a high school game with this? Doing well, thanks. So I think that's new. All right, structure again. Pro League, Draft League, and College League. And if you missed it when we looked at the teams, you can now set it as an NFL Pro Team or any other league Pro Team. Roster limit you can change to whatever you want. Enforce the roster limit. Game eras is standard. I never changed that. You can go alternate reality. I've already done the player photos. You can do the salary cap and value. Internet play rules, I don't touch any of that stuff. Usage. I don't do penalties for any of this stuff. How you doing, Forrest? But now, this looks new. I shut off the mouse. See, carry over regular season usage into playoffs. That looks new. So you can, if you have someone who you overused, you can now set it up so they will be really overused in the postseason. And now you can have an out-of-position penalty, standard or major. So that's new for this year. Injuries, you can have the default is set for multi-game injuries, partial game injuries. League injury preferences, preset injuries. You can actually schedule them from the roster screen. Pre-game, the default is limit regular season games to games missed to real life total. Post-game injuries, added or extended after the game. And overused players more injury prone. You can also set the maximum current injured players per roster or partial injuries. It starts at none, and you can have up to 20 or no limit. So you can change that if you want. Injury rate, frequency, and duration. The default is normal. You can play the Gardner way, which is none. You can have low, normal, or high. Fatigue meter. I have that. If you're wondering how the fatigue works, 90 to 100 is full strength, 80 to 89 needs some rest, and 0 to 79 the computer will pull them. Penalties. There's no horse collar and no excessive celebration and taunting, but you can change all these, but they default to what they were in that particular year. And defensive penalty on successive extra point and force on kickoff, check. Defensive personal foul on touchdown and force on kickoff, check. And field goal and penalty on punt. So those are the rules. Penalty frequency, realistic, or you could have a lot more. Only put excessive celebration against the Falcons. We'll leave it at realistic. Formations, they have them all checked off by year. That hasn't changed. Quick play, now play pause settings. It's if you go through and play them off one by one. And the display, you can now put a league logo in there. So, any questions so far? Let's take a look at the tools. These, I think, some of these look new. We did the pictures already. The whole league tools is all the same. You can have default rest periods. League roster tools, you can check for real usage, set all players to real-life usage targets and coach settings. You can set everyone to active. You can set the rosters to the league limit. You can clear depth charts, default depth charts, default coaches. The computer can do all that for you. Team setup tools, I think you can change it to be by specific year. So if you want to play 60s football in the 90s, I think you can. So if you want to play them as a lesser team or whatever, you can. That looks all new. Anything else before I set up an exhibition game that you want? An encyclopedia. Who asked about the encyclopedia? I've never played with the encyclopedia. Career leaders? So, I don't know. Refresh? You can also set the encyclopedia, by the way, as the opening screen. Questions so far? We're going to do an exhibition game. Washington. Buffalo. The print seems to be larger too. Computer coaches both defenses. Both set to human. Home field advantage is on. Again, to me, does this look like the print is larger on the screen? I didn't change any of the font sizes. Does that? I know you're kind of looking at it on whatever screen you're looking at through my streaming software, but to me, this looks easier to read. These are the default settings for play-by-play. We don't do short. I don't do display in team colors. Penalty display pause, I'm not sure. We don't use play clock. Scoreboard. Display standard. Classic, stack teams, split teams. I think I did split teams last year. Stats, expanded. None, basic, expanded. We'll go with expanded. Team colors. Home team, big plays. We play horizontal. You can display uniform instead of photo. Let's do that. Alert when offense changes quarterback. Weather icon. Display pregame lineups. Alert when skill players initially enter games. Defensive play call. List color. Mouse over player stats. You can go real, replay, or game. We'll do replay. Field display. We do horizontal. Player display position. Let's do ratings. Lineups, none, rating, or uniforms. We'll do uniforms. Let's see how that looks. Sound, I shut off the narrator. If the volume is too much, tell me about it. You can have the national anthem there. And you can just put stuff in the box score. So this is a new option. I can adjust the Washington roster. The computer can set it already. So we'll play with 49 players for Washington. The field does look bigger. And this is new. So you can see all the starters at once. 63 degrees, winds at 20 to 30. Biner, Irvins, the running backs. Clark and Monk, the wide receivers. Rippon, the quarterback. Middleton, the tight end. You can see how the rest of this goes. This, I believe, is new for... No, they've had this before. And so now we do the coin toss after the fact. And Washington has won the toss. I think everything looks bigger, Tribe fan, don't you? Washington will receive. And so Buffalo will kick. Irvin back deep, or Mitchell back deep. He stands on his 8. Irvins and Johnson the Upman. This all kind of looks bigger, to be honest. Whoa, ho, ho. Kick is taken at the 10 by Mitchell to the 20, 30. The ball is loose. Clark will pick it up, and the Redskins will take over. Let's watch out on the replay, shall we? So that's what the full screen chalkboard does. So Biner and Irvins, the running backs. Monk and Clark, the wide receivers. Middleton, the tight end. Rippon, the quarterback. Lachey and Jacoby, the tackles. Schlereth and Grimm, the guards. And McKenzie, the center. So that's all the same. We ran a lot. Trap right. Give is to Biner. As you can see, he's hit at the 35 for a gain of 1. I like that extended, the bigger screen, but that's going to drive Al nuts the first time he goes to use this in OBS, because it technically pops up as a second window. So 2nd down and 9 for the Redskins. Doesn't look like there are any new play calls here. If you liked how they did it last year, it's going to be pretty much the same. Short flat to Irvins. Oh, we're going to audible here. We're going to continue with the original play call, but those are your audible choices, and I should call it play. So Rippon looks, throws. Irvin's got it at the 32, 35, 40. He's hit at the 42 for a gain of 7, and it's 3rd down and 2. Cornelius Bennett with the tackle. So 2 tight ends set. We'll go to Viner again. Trap left. Give this to Viner, and Viner will have the first down. There's a flag down.
Number 87, 10-yard penalty.
So I wish I could move that down and it would stay. But it's on Middleton. And the Redskins will punt. Because it's, 3rd and 12. No, they won't. 3 wide receivers. Gary Clark comes in the game. So Clark, this has not changed. A play-action pass. And a medium slant to Clark is the call. Ripping back to throw. Moves around. He throws over the middle. Clark's got it. First down. And a gain of 17. So 1st and 10 for Washington on their own 49. And let's show you what the replay looked like. So what are you guys' thoughts? Talk to me, guys. So 1st and 10 for the Redskins. Biner the lone setback. Off tackle left here. And gets the handoff. Hit at midfield. For a gain of 2 by Albert or Ray Bentley. 2nd and 8. Coming up for Washington. Let's take a look at the lineup screen. This is what they have had for the last couple years. That might be something I said. Tribe fan is not sure if you like the delays from like quarterback to running back handoff. Let me see if I can change that. You go under options, game setup, game display, field display. Where did I see that? I know I saw that somewhere. Okay, by the 9th time I hit that, play calling. I'm not seeing that there, that you can change that. Here, we'll put the pictures up for the skilled players. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Irvins. Sweep left. Give to Irvins. Over the 50. First down, 40, 35, 34. Bentley with a tackle. That's a gain of 15. It is kind of disorienting a little bit to be going from the full screen back to the shorter field that we're or the smaller field that we're used to. At least the clock isn't blinking before every play. So 1st and 10 for Washington. Medium hitch to Art Monk. Rippin under center, gets it. He will throw, and that is picked off by Mark Kelso. And he will bring it down to the 30. Again at 25. Can I turn the big field off? Let's take a look. Field display. Expanded field during video chalkboard. I can take out the pause. Oh, pop-up pause. Oh, let's see what that is. Now let's try that. I think it can, Dave. Anyway, 1st and 10 for the Bills on their own 30-yard line. Thurman Thomas, Kenneth Davis, the running backs, Reed and Lofton, the wide receivers, McKellar, the tight end, Kelly, a quarterback, Ballard and Wolford, the tackles, Richter and Davis, the guards, and Hall, the center. And it's not red. So Thomas on a sweep right. And it will be a gain of 5. Here we'll do that. So let's try that. 2nd and 5 for Buffalo. Do a medium cross to Lofton. Yeah, you can. Boy, that's a lot faster, isn't it? Completed. Oh, it's almost too fast. That's a 1st down for the Bills. It went to Kenneth Davis instead. Wilbur Marshall with a tackle. So that pretty much, Buffalo, by the way, is going into the wind. So that pretty much would be the same setup as in the past. Let's try this. Kelly will look to Andre Reed on a medium out. There we go. And that's incomplete. Show which again? Alright. Expanded field during video chalkboard makes the field bigger. And so that is checked by default. And the pop-up pause, I think, is what Tribe Fan was talking about before. And so I changed that from no time, from 1 second to no pause. And you can go to half a second. And then you can change the default time for how long it takes to go to the big screen from 0.1 seconds to it looks like 2 seconds. And I'll slow down the chalkboard speed some. So 2nd and 10 for Buffalo on their own 40. Thomas. Trap right. And he is hit for no gain. So 3rd and 10 for the Bills. 9:14 to go in the one and only quarter we're going to play here. 3 wide receivers. Thomas can change. Now he's going to work as a receiver here. You can do that. Kelly will work out of the gun. Medium hitch to Thomas is the call. Kelly has time, throws down to Beebe instead for a gain of 5. And that goes pretty fast. I don't think I like that. The problem is the pop-up pot. What's causing that? Yep, this is a new version there. Matt, how are you? The pop-up pause is to tell you who has the ball. So let's set that at half a second and see if that makes it any better. 4th and 5, we're going to punt anyway. Chris Moore and Washington inside the 20. You really can't see the play-by-play box all that well. And some of these decisions you got to be able to see. We'll play for the return. Moore to Mitchell at the 18, and he's hit. The ball is loose, and Buffalo recovered it. You can always watch it on Twitch for the next 2 weeks, and it will be up within 24 hours after on YouTube. And tomorrow's baseball game is the Phillies and the Pirates, by the way, at noon Eastern. So you missed a turnover here. And so some of those chalkboard things aren't quite fixed yet. Anyway, 1st and 10 for the Bills on the 16-yard line of Washington. Medium out for Andre Reed. 1st and 10. Kelly back to throw. Looks down to Davis instead, down to the 10. It's a gain of 7 as he's hit at the 9. So, yeah, a couple ways to watch. By the way, all the live videos on Twitch are available for 2 weeks. So, 2nd and 3 after the 7-yard gain. Thomas. Pitch right is the call. Kelly pitches right to Thomas, who gets to the 10. He turns around the corner, but he's going to be just short. Hit at the 6. 3rd down in inches, following a gain of 3. So 3rd down. Kelly going to call his own number. Going to run a bootleg. See what happens here. Kelly runs around, scrambles 1st down, hit for a gain of 3. 1st down Bills, 1st and goal from the Redskin 3. And again, the passing numbers are kind of backwards. You can see for Buffalo, 4 passes, 3 complete for 17 yards. So that's what they mean by extended. 2 tight end backfield. Metzelar's in there with McKellar. Thomas on a fullback dive from the 3. Handoff is, they get, well, I can't tell what they got. A gain of 1. That's confusing because you really can't tell what's going. You can see it, but you can't see it, if that makes sense. Davis. Draw play from the 2. Kelly hands off. The pendulum is not swung, and it will be a loss of 2 as Stokes makes the tackle. So 3rd down and goal from, where are we? The 4. Short slant to Lofton. Kelly back to throw and can't find Lofton, so we'll have the field goal. I'm not sure I like to have those player pop-ups. Do you? It'll be Norwood. He's got a 99.5% chance of making this one. And it's good. So it's 3-0 Buffalo. 4:14 to go. We're only going to do 1 quarter here. So Mitchell back, Irvins and Johnson. And so we'll look at schedule screens and all that after. Kick is away, taken by Mitchell at the 5, 10, 20, 28-yard line, and Marcus Patton made the tackle. It is nice that all the fields that we have with the game will work with the stretch-o-vision. Here, let's see what we can do for a Monk here. Long slant. Let it fly, Mr. Rippon. And Rippon throws incomplete. Rippon and Monk were not on the same page. So 2nd and 10. Again, you can call these run left, run right plays like this. We'll give it to Ricky Irvins from the 28. He has it the 25 on the pitch, and he is immediately tackled for a loss of 4 by Leon Seals, and it'll be 3rd down and 14. Three wide, Monk, Clark, and Sanders. They get a medium cross to go 14. Yeah, let's run it to Gary Clark. So let's run it to Art Monk. You can see the play action pass there seems to be effective because the completion percentages go way up. So play action, Rippon to throw, but he can't find Monk, incomplete. So 3 and out for the Skins. Kelly Goodburn We'll punt it deep. He's got the wind behind him. Good burn. Punts it away. Drilled back to Edwards around the 25. He's a 3-yard return. 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. 3-0 Buffalo. Thomas on a sweep to the near side. And he's hit, for about a gain of 2. Yeah, I just don't like how you can't see the play-by-play. I think as a player, I think it would be pretty good. But as someone who was looking to stream these things, it makes it really tough. It's a gain of 2. I see that Kurt Govey got the tackle. And in 2nd and 8, 2:50 to go in the quarter. Do a short pass here to McKellar. The tight end flag is down.
False start. Offense. Number 69. 5-yard penalty. Repeat.
And
Second
Will
down.
Wolford with the false start. And the Redskins will take it 2nd and 13. Here, draw play to Davis. From Kelly, and Davis has a little room over the 30. He's hit at the 34, a gain of 6 by Fred Stokes. What are the running back choices? Oh, Cardwell Garner. So 3rd down and 7. Lofton. Medium slant. Kelly back to throw. And he's got Lofton open at midfield. And Mayhew brings him down for a gain of 18. So, didn't tell me first down Bills there. Okay. So, Kelly 4 of 6 for 35 yards. 1:17 clock running here in this abbreviated game. We'll give Gardner a run. Dave, is this your cousin? Trap right. Buffalo will audible. Heavy blitz. Oh, audible screen to Thomas instead. Kelly to Thomas. He's got it. 50, 45, 40. It's a gain of 8. And I don't think we're going to run a play here. So we'll call it, at least that part, the game is there. Is there anything else you want to see in the game screen? That's a text file. Not sure how much of that you can see. So there's the play-by-play. All right, here's the in-game stats. And defaults to player stats. This looks to be about all the same. The scoring screen, drive summary, and how the drive ended, team stats, no injuries, no highlights, players active and how many players played, and the in-game play-by-play. That's new. You can resume the game later by selecting Play Resume Game from the opening screen. Alright, so what do we want to see? Well, I'll put this one up first. Here's the roster screen all done up with the logos and the uniforms and all that. Real stats there. The skill players and their real stats. They don't have drops in there for the real. The game keeps track of that. their touchdowns, their fumble percentages, their ratings as a receiver, the routes they can run after catch rating, that's rack, and the percentage against them if it's doubled. Running backs in the pictures, wide receivers and tight ends, offensive line, their block rating, their run rating, and their pass rating, and their durability. Same with the defensive line, their overall defense, how they rate against the run, the pass, and the rush, and how many sacks that they have. Same thing for the linebackers, plus interceptions and such. If I'm going too fast, let me know. DBs and their ratings and real life numbers. Kickers. Returns. Who's in there for special teams, such as a long snapper, and who holds kicks. How much people played in a game. What would be their usage penalties if we had them on? Special team usage. If you just want a biography of players, this would be their real life schedule. How the hell did Shula pull off a game in September against Buffalo, in Buffalo? Look at that. They actually had only had two really late season games, the Jets and the Lions. An overview of all the real life stats and what would be the history if there was an encyclopedia. This would be, Machine Gun Jim Kelly. You really can't see it, but this would be his player card. So his rushing style, short yardage, breakaway rushing, his skills, his durability. So this would be his statistics. This would be when the play results and how well he did. Obviously, he's not receiving, so you'd be able to tell how he did in screen passes, short passes, medium passes, long passes, blah, 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 blah. How he did in third down situations, how he did in fourth quarters, how he did in runs. The game logs, you know how those work. His history. This would be the settings, where he would play and their lineups. And his ratings. So estimates are for comparative purposes only. Actual play results vary with offensive and defensive players. Play calls, field position. For play result estimates based on this player with his current team, please refer to Play Analysis Tool. So basically that's how you would look at his card and some advanced statistics. And if you wanted to see Buffalo's stats at a glance on the main screen, this is how you do it. And you can do it for every team. So we showed you the rosters. We showed you a quarter. What do you want to see? A schedule play. I know what you want to see. Is a schedule screen. Here's how it's set up for this particular year. So the logos are all there. They do not have the default Monday night games set up. So I think for most of these seasons you'd have to do that by hand. I'm assuming that the real schedule is there. Yeah. So you'd have to change all that for the Thanksgiving games for this particular season and such. Anything else? So it looks pretty standard for a release. The big one is the full screen chalkboard, but it's really not quite full screen. I don't think you can change that. I mean, here it is again. There's no make it bigger, make it smaller. You can go with a vertical field and then show the horizontal video. You guys didn't complain about the sound being too loud. The play-by-play was hard to see when the bigger chalkboard was on. Play calling options. This looks new. Expanded or basic playlist. This looks new. Display offensive play box. I can click on the play or the player, or mouse over play or player. That's new. And I think single clicking plays are new. You can have a play clock. That's kind of like if you were playing with a buddy. Of course, it's all set up so you can draft. If you have like the football history collection, you can draft teams and such as that. If you want to look at stats for a particular thing, you can go expanded and do all that. We'll just go through the database and show it to you. Emmitt Smith had 1,563 yards in 1991. Only 7,000 yards rushers. I didn't realize that. Here's what Leonard Russell's card would look like. Okay, and it just takes all that information that the game generates and just spits it back out into pages. Anything I missed? Oh, people are leaving. Anything I missed? I mean, we can always do another one of these just for YouTube. But that pretty much is the gist of the game. So let me, obviously the key thing is going to be things that aren't obvious today are going to be obvious when you play it a couple times. The full chalkboard is kind of an interesting experience. The pause, as Tribe fans said, if you like the delays and having the player pop up or who had the ball, but when it shut off. I thought it went too fast, but it blocks too much of the play-by-play box and makes it hard to figure out as far as streaming is concerned what's actually going on. It might make you a better play caller. On the other hand, that's what happens in the baseball game. And the baseball chalkboard, I think, is quite mature. Is this a must update? Well, if you want to play the 2020 season, you're going to have this game to play it, because the 2020 season, as I said, is not compatible with older versions of the game. We might play a game and tape it at some point over the weekend just to see. Again, most of the changes in Action PC you're not going to realize until you've played a couple times. If you liked the game before, the new graphics might grab you there. Again, the game keeps a boatload of stats. Not sure what's new in that thing. You can always look at the sell sheet for that, but hopefully you'll enjoy it if you bought it. I'm not going to say that this was a must-buy, because I really haven't played it just that quarter that you saw there, and some of that was, again, discombobulated. I'll give you one more chance to tell me if there's anything that I didn't show you that you'd like to see before we go. So one last call for questions and all that. Some of the changes were kind of cool with the new opening screen and being able to do stuff right from the start. But as far as actually playing the football game, it didn't seem a lot different. I didn't see any new play calls. Last year got the more generic, easier stuff to call offenses. And not only call offenses anyway. I'm not sure how the defenses work. But again, if you like the game, there's nothing there that says, I don't like it anymore. But we'll see. And of course, this is what? Version 26, 27 of this game? It's hard to find new and exciting things to do every year with a game. Dave and I will talk about this, by the way, on Digital Dice. We're taping that on Friday afternoon. It'll be there for your dancing and dining pleasure on Friday night. So, one last call for questions. Comments, concerns? Again, I think with the basketball game last year that, there was some major step forwards in the graphical area, and he does seem to be bringing changes he makes to one game forward to all the games, and I like that. Whether it's worth the $45 is up to you. If you're missing some seasons, the Deluxe, I believe, comes with 9 seasons now. So, not seeing any comments or questions in the chat. Oh. Okay, Polly, what did you think? He just did a chat and showed Action PC Football briefly. So, I'll let him, Underwhelmed? Look the same. Yeah, TB Polly has it right. I think more confusing at this point. I was kind of hoping that when the full screen chalkboard for baseball, everything goes off the screen and you just concentrate on the play. This seemed to be a 3/4 jobby, and not being able to see the play-by-play, which is my crutch from before. I think it's a start in the right direction. I'm glad that the fields are all kind of compatible, but I wasn't overwhelmingly thrilled. Now, again, sometimes you got to play with the speeds of things, and we haven't really done that. Yeah. If you're, I'm not quite sold yet that this was worth the upgrade if you're not playing the season. You can turn off the full screen. I did show that, by the way. And just go with what you've had in years past, which is the chalkboard on what we've had before. But I think that the full screen chalkboard was the main draw of, that's what caught my eye anyway. I don't do draft leagues. And that the other thing that was kind of interesting, was that you can change the pro level from NFL being the default top level to the other leagues, such as the WFL, the USFL, the AFL, the AAFC, to be under that, so that if you want to play two teams from different leagues against each other, that the AFL shouldn't dominate as they tend to do in the past. The NFL teams would be superior. But I agree with Polly. A lot of it looked the same. And I guess, we know from previous experience that any of these graphical changes takes a lot to do. So, not seeming thrilled, I don't want to say underwhelmed, but it's not what I expected. Anything else? And again, that may be more my expectations of doing this. I mean, this is my probably 10th version of this game. I'm not going to say I'm disappointed, but I kind of expected to be a bit wowed tonight, and I really wasn't. And maybe just because the game is so mature as far as development, I'm not sure what they could do to make it that. So, growing pains for everything. I didn't have a crash. That's always good to show off, do a virtual unboxing, and the game doesn't crash. Anything else real quick? And the game keeps track of a ton of stats, and by the time that we get into, the plan is to do a football replay again this fall like we did the first 2 years of Retro Sports Network. But we'll see on the presentation part of it. The game itself seems solid. Again, we'll probably do a test game over the weekend with the bells and whistles and see that, because so much of the stuff is subtle that you'll pick it up. I'm sure Al, Red Sox fan, will do a game. But again, my thing is with TV Pauly, it, with the exception of the full screen, it pretty much looked the same. So, last call for questions, comments, concerns about the football game. You can leave them, of course, on YouTube when this goes up tomorrow night. And Dave and I will talk about it on Friday on Digital Dice. So, we'll give it another thing there. They played with the encyclopedia some, and I'm surprised the 2 seasons that I've done for full didn't show up. I did a full 78 replay, and I did a full 86 replay. But maybe, so at least the career records should be showing up. And I didn't see that. I gotta remember to save this. Alright, well there you go. That's the virtual unboxing. The pros, it installs easy. The way you mod the game has not changed over the year. If you modded Action PC Football once, you've got to do it again. Add the comma? I think you have to add them. Oh, well that might be true. Again, that's not something Zalapsky I've ever played with. The modding is easy, so everything is kept in the DK Sports folder. I think if you are converting from one version to the next and continuing a replay, I think you should be fine. The biggest cons are, I'm not overwhelmingly in love with the full screen chalkboard as of yet, because it's not full screen. And of course, if you want to play the 2020 season and don't want to upgrade, you're kind of up a creek without a paddle. You got to buy the new game to play the new season. And for older seasons, the schedules, I'm sure, are right, but you got to go through and mod for Monday Night Football and Saturday games and Thanksgiving games and all that. But so I guess that'll do, unless someone has something really quick to slide in. So, I'm Ron Chucka. Baseball tomorrow will be, I believe, the Phillies and the Pirates at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific from Forbes Field in Pittsburgh as Ralph Kiner continues to chase Babe Ruth in the home run championship case. I'm Ron Juckett. Thank you so much for watching. We'll talk to you tomorrow for baseball and probably sneak out a game at some point over the weekend right here on Twitch. Have a good night, everybody.